sports fans, welcome to Super Sports Central. Today, we're going to be going over Week 8 USFL Power Rankings. So, briefly recapping Week 7, the Stallions beat the Breakers 24-20. The Stars beat the Maulers in a shootout 37-31. The Showboats knocked off the Gamblers 23-20. And the Panthers beat the Generals 25-22. So, this week's rankings were insanely hard, and I felt like I could put several different teams in several different spots. So, let me know what your rankings are in the comments below. But beginning my rankings, at number 8, I've got the New Jersey Generals. So they lost another game. They're now 2-5 on the season. They've lost 4 straight. They went back to their 2-quarterback system, which seems to be the recipe for success on offense for them. And it was working until DeAndre Johnson was knocked out of the game with an injury. Now, the Generals, they also claimed quarterback Eric Barrier off the waivers from the Panthers. So it'll be interesting to see how the Generals use him, if he'll be active at all moving forward, because the Generals' offense really needs to find a quarterback because they've started slow under Kyle Wetta in both the starts. DeAndre Johnson is now injured, and they still have got Dakota Prukop, but he has not seen much playing time. So it'll be interesting to see how they use Barrier. Now for the Generals defensively, they weren't great, and the defense had been really good all season long, but they were super banged up on the defensive side of the ball. They were without defensive stars Shimon Luwani and Chris Orr. So now the Generals, they're 0-4 in one-score games, and they really need to get things going in the right direction if they want a chance at the playoffs. They enter number 8. Number 7, we've got the Pittsburgh Maulers. So they're coming off a 37-31 loss to the Stars. Their offense was spectacular, putting up a season-high 31 points. But the one game where their offense is able to score a lot of points is the one game their defense has an off game and allows 37 points. But the Maulers' offense was great. They scored touchdowns in all 3 of their red zone trips. They were able to run the ball pretty effectively, and they were also helped out by a kickoff return touchdown. Now, defensively for the Maulers, they struggled for the first time this season. They allowed 37 points, 347 yards, and 6.1 yards of play. Now, the numbers look brutal, but it's really, really bad because of a few big plays that the Maulers defense had allowed. But a bad game for the Maulers defense causes them to lose, and they come in at number 7. Now, I feel like I could put them at number 6 above the Panthers, but with the Panthers coming off a win and the Maulers coming off a loss, I don't think I could do that. So I've got the Maulers at 7. So number 6, I just said it is the Michigan Panthers. So the Panthers, they snapped their 4-game losing streak as they beat the Generals 25-22. Quarterback Josh Love was great, had another big game with 264 yards and 3 touchdowns, and he got a much-needed good performance, and he was also named Offensive Player of the Week. Now the Panthers, they did release quarterback Eric Barrier, as I mentioned before when I was talking about the Generals. Now he was the team's backup quarterback, but he didn't play a snap this season. So now they have Brian Lewerke, who will enter their second quarterback role, and they also just signed E.J. Purry, who will be their third quarterback. Now, defensively for the Panthers, they weren't great, but they did enough to get the win, and they enter at number 6. Number 5, we've got the New Orleans Breakers. So they enter my rankings at number 5 after their 3rd consecutive loss. They lost to the Stallions 24-20. The Breakers' offense has been slowed down significantly in the recent weeks as Wes Hills has been held in check, and also quarterback McLeod Bethel-Thompson has not been great. But now, McLeod Bethel-Thompson does have a track record of being a very streaky quarterback. Now, the Breakers' defense was once again solid, but the offense has held the team back over the recent weeks, and the Breakers really can't afford to lose many more games because they're playing in an insanely competitive South Division, and they could potentially miss the playoffs despite starting off 0-4. In fact, if the playoffs started today, they would be out of the playoffs. So the Breakers, they really need to get back to their winning ways so they can make the playoffs. The Breakers enter at number 5. Number 4 is the Houston Gamblers. So they fought a 4 after a 23-20 loss to the Showboats. They had their 4-game winning streak snapped, and they were just not good for the first 15 minutes of the game. They scored just 6 points heading into the 4th quarter. They made a comeback and took the lead with 1:49 to go, but then on the very next play, their defense allowed a 64-yard touchdown, which was ultimately the difference in the game. Now, the Gamblers' offense, which had been great, was slowed down. Superstar running back Mark Thompson was held to just 42 yards, but he did have 2 touchdown runs, and now he has 11 total touchdowns on the season, or 11 rushing touchdowns on the season, which is a modern USFL single-season record, and he still has 3 games left, and he can add to that total. The all-time USFL record is 21, set by Herschel Walker in 1985, but that's when the season with 18 games. But the Gamblers' defense, they were solid, but they ended up taking the loss, and they fought a 4-3 in the season, and they ended up getting their 4-game winning streak snapped. The Gamblers enter at number 4. Number 3, we've got the Philadelphia Stars. So the Stars, they've miraculously turned their season around after an awful 1-3 start. They're now winners of 3 straight and have gotten their record up to 4-3, and they're in first place of the North Division. They're coming off a thrilling 37-31 win over their in-state rival, the Maulers. The Stars' offense played a spectacular game. Quarterback Case Cookus was great with 235 yards and 2 touchdowns, including 2 56-yard completions, one to Corey Coleman, the other to Devin Gray. Now, the Stars' offensive line was a big reason why they were able to have offensive success. Their offensive line, which had struggled earlier in the season, they were good, giving Case Cook time to throw. Only about 1 sack, and they also opened up holes in the run game as the Stars rushed for 114 yards and 2 touchdowns. Now, their defense wasn't great, but their offense was spectacular, and this is kind of what I was expecting from the Stars offense coming into the season. And it definitely looks as if the Stars offense is firing on all cylinders. And the Stars, after a great turnaround, they enter number 3. Number 2 is the Memphis Showboats. So they're just like the Stars in the fact that they had a tremendous turnaround to the season. The Showboats, they started off 0-3, and now after 4 straight wins, they're 4-3. The Showboats, they weren't amazing this past week, but they got the win over the Gamblers thanks to a late 64-yard catch and run by wide receiver Derek Dillon. Now, the Showboats defense was also great, holding quarterback Kenji Bahar for the Gamblers to just a 46% completion percentage, and also forcing him into 2 interceptions. Plus, they were able to slow down star running back Mark Thompson, so the red hot Memphis Showboats enter at number 2. And my number 1 team is the Birmingham Stallions. So they're number 1 in my power rankings. They're probably the best overall team in the USFL. They're the best team in the USFL record-wise at 5-2, and they're coming off a big win over the Breakers, winning 24-20, and they're now in sole position of first place. Their offense was good yet again, and led by another good performance by star quarterback Alex Magoo, who had 198 total yards and 2 total touchdowns, and he might be the MVP frontrunner at this point. But the Stallions defense, they were great once again, holding the Breakers to just 20 points and also forcing 3 turnovers. So the Stallions definitely appear to be the most complete team in the USFL, and they enter my rankings at number 1. So those are my Week 8 USFL power rankings. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications to notice if there are upcoming videos. I do my best to post as often as possible. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications. I do my best to post as often as possible, and I will see you in the next video.